Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here. Today we're talking about the God of War Remake trilogy because they accidentally just leaked a ton about it. And when I say they, I mean Christopher Judge. The current God of War actor just sat down by accident. A random God of War YouTuber walked up and said, "I'm super excited for the game, are you in it?" And he said a ton of stuff he's not supposed to say, including when we're going to see it, how different it's going to be, and who's the new lead star. And I want to discuss this because basically a million people now have sent me this clip and I haven't watched it yet. I want to actually live react to it because it sounds fun, but bad. Let's get into it. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you enjoy some off-the-cuff gaming goodness every single day. Now, undoubtedly, I have to admit that this is a still massive surprise to me. Obviously, it's been a couple days now, but they did a very, very fun state of play that ended with tons of God of War deliciousness. But specifically, this God of War Remake trilogy, people are losing their minds about it, right? I mean, I like the old God of War games a bit. I beat every God of War game, but I've always liked these later ones more than the early ones. I really enjoy the introspective Kratos over the shouty, angry version of the early games. They're fun, but I always like the story of the later games more. But I'm almost kind of curious to see how they do it again now. And we're going to get a chance to get this. Now, this project has been rumored now for about 3 years. That originally they were saying it's going to be a remaster, and it turned out to be a full-blown remake. But a lot of people are also kind of afraid about how you do this again. If you've never played these games, they still look fantastic, obviously, but a lot of people are kind of discussing the fact that a lot of the DNA of these old school God of War games is built on the hardware limitations. These were constructed for the PlayStation 2, so they do have fixed camera angles and pre-rendered cutscenes, and a lot of times, a lot of the boss fights, as epic as they are, there is a lot of stuff that just hammer circle to rip off God's head and stuff. But I'm curious what's new. Now, there is talks that this year we're actually going to see two separate God of War games. We're going to see the God of War Remake trilogy revealed in full for realsy, but also this mysterious Sony Santa Monica project. Now, the people that are currently basically in charge of everything God of War, including the weird random spin-offs and stuff, is Cory Barlog and his team. Now, this thing, apparently it's going to feel like a new game, but not be. It's still going to be in the new God of War universe we're getting. Basically something after Ragnarok. But it sounds like it's going to be maybe that Loki spin-off game. At the end of God of War Ragnarok, it very heavily implied that Loki is taking over to some degree as the main character of the series. Maybe not quite the new Kratos, but somebody that's going to get their own series of games, which I have to admit I'm very excited about. I just think that Loki is such an interesting side character, and obviously his name is Atreus. Atreus is just such a cool character. I want to see what he would do inside this new lore they're constructing. But, all right, enough beating around the bush. Let's listen to the clip. Again, I've not heard this. A lot of people are talking about the fact that this is actually, where is it? Somebody said this is a YouTuber named Fuzhpuzy. Okay, so credit to Fuzhpuzy for this clip. But here we go. Let's hope it's not Christopher Judge getting sued.
A new announcement, and I have to come say hi. Are you playing in the remake?
No, well, it's gonna be TC because it's not a reboot, but they're gonna put all the new technology in it, add more stuff, a new fighting system.
Okay.
So that will be TC. The original.
Sorry, who's
the original guy?
Oh, the original. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. And then you'll be hearing about what we're doing probably late summer.
Oh, that's so exciting. You didn't play in the Sparta one, right? The new announcement too?
The Sons of Sparta?
Yeah.
Well, that's a kind of 2D thing. That's about Kratos and Deimos, his brother.
So, yeah, he definitely was not supposed to say that. I think I think he just kind of was very excited with her. It is funny. This is how a lot of leaks happen, where someone comes up and they're super, super excited. Hey, here's this thing. And they accidentally mirror that excitement. But in case you couldn't quite hear it, God of War Remake is a total reboot, essentially, is what he said. It's the old games, but reconstructed entirely. This is not just new lighting engines built on top of the old games. Something like what they did with the Diablo 2 remake, Resurrected, where they literally built the new game on top of the old game. This is basically a completely new game. new combat, new systems, and new content. This to me sounds great. Some people are already kind of pooping their pants about that. Let me get that to a second. Original TC Carson is the only person in the Kratos remake. Now, I feel like I'm very much on board with this. TC Carson is such a different style of Kratos compared to the current Kratos. The Christopher Judge Kratos is that simmering cold anger, the guy who's managed to kind of figure out how to control his emotions and how to express himself, whereas TC Carson, he is rage incarnate. It's screaming, it's yelling, it's literally dragging yourself out of the pits of Hades. And I think it is more appropriate to have TC Carson play the older Kratos. So the fact that they actually brought him back, that is, to me, one of the smartest choices about this. I don't think that was really optional. But the new Sony Santa Monica game, he said, our next game is going to be shown in late summer. So probably around Summer Games Fest. Sony has had a pretty big presence at Sony Games Fest, but this is still very interesting to think about the fact that we're going to actually see that new Sony Santa Monica game that rumors have been going around that for, I don't even know how many years. I want to say about 2 or 3 years now. There's been talks that this new Sony Santa Monica project is very, very big, and apparently Sony themselves is very, very happy with it. But this is the thing. New fighting system is throwing me off here. I doubt they change it to fit with the over-the-shoulder, one-shot perspective of the Norse games, but then again, I could be wrong. I would prefer if they kept the same combats and the same cameras in the original games. They still hold up. Now, one of my very good friends, actually, I've talked about this before, my best friend that I grew up with, we're still best friends 30 years later, he has debated with me how perfect specifically God of War 3 is. He thinks God of War 3 is maybe one of the greatest games of all time. It's still that freaking good to him. I have talked about the fact that I would like to see remakes, and he's very much in the camp that you can update the graphics, but you can't update the game. That this is already what God of War 3 is. You can't really like start ripping out wires to make something new out of the already existing perfection. But I still think that this game, as good as it is, I do think that they can't overhaul it to try and be too different, or it really wouldn't make sense, right? Gosh, remakes will have new technology, new settings, systems, new content. Here's the last tweet I wanted to look at because, man, this person is throwing a hissy fit. I don't know who this person is, but if this is true, which it seems my apprehension about the God of War trilogy being remade was justified. 100% suspecting they're going to turn them into the same style as the 2 newer entries, my disdain for remakes continues to grow rapidly. I still am in the camp that these are going to be amazing. I mean, it's the people that are making the good God of War games are just making more good God of War games. Maybe that's me, but my current hype levels are through the roof. I gotta say, as a person that didn't super love the original games, I appreciated them, I respected them. I'm curious what comes out on the other side. And hopefully it's not coming out for the PlayStation 6. These have been some off-the-cuff thoughts. How do you feel about the God of War remake? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.